All right, let's look at the stances. The twist stance is going to be, whether it's a front twist stance or a rear twist stance, it's going to be initiated with the back leg. And by that, I mean I'm going to step forward, put my foot down. Now if you look at my feet, this front one is more or less perpendicular to the red line going down the floor. And then this leg here, the foot pivoted and the heels lifted off the ground. Okay? If I'm going to work from a right neutral bow, it would just be this way. There's the twist. Now I can increase or decrease the distance of my toe-heel alignment. And by that I mean when I step forward, focus on the red line. Look at my heel. I can put my heel here, or I can put my heel on the line. Then I can get my pivot going. And then eventually, instead of having two separate moves like this, 1, 2, it'll start to become more simultaneous. Okay, so again, I can step on the line, or I can step off the line. All I want you guys to get used to is going from a neutral to a twist as smoothly as possible. Slow and smooth. That's all I'm looking for. It's going to work your hips and tendons and ligaments around your knee in a way that you really can't do with any other exercise. Why would we do a twist stance? First of all, the conditioning effect that I just talked about. We already know that in human combat, we move more primally when there is no consent, there's no awareness, there's no preparation. Okay? Which is why we base out and we tend to club a lot. Club with our hands. And all you have to do is watch real fights on security footage and you'll know what I'm talking about. So, in those moments, you might trip. Someone might step on your foot. You might step into something and you can't pull your foot out. A lot of goofy things can happen to you. You could roll your ankle. Your shoe falls off. In those instances, you want to have strong legs, no matter how goofy you're wound up, twisted up, turned into a pretzel. When you're doing a twist stance, as part of your conditioning, your legs are going to be more ready and more prepared for something like that. Now, that's the front twist stance. If I do a rear, remember earlier I said the back leg is going to be the one that initiates, so we already went this way. Now, let's go this way. Okay. Right neutral bow, rear twist. Left neutral bow, rear twist, front twist. So practice those. The rotating twist stance is also called the in-place twist stance. So whenever you hear one of the two terms, we're talking about the same thing. In this case, both feet are going to be pivoting simultaneously. All I'm trying to do is basically screw myself into the ground like one of those augers, right? So if this is the foot that's going to be going towards you, that back foot twists and comes up. If I'm going to be turning my body this way, I can twist into something like this. And again, I can do it narrow, or if my feet are wider apart, I should be working these exercises, conditioning exercises, into my program often and on a regular, consistent basis. My personal experience is that stances like this, I don't put myself into them consciously. I find myself in them, in the chaos of a fight. And normally it's because someone has stepped off a curb, onto someone's shoe. Somehow they get tripped up. And now the legs naturally do twisting motions to maintain the amount of structure that's possible within that given environment and situation. The outward back knuckle can be thrown from a neutral bow stance. It can be thrown from a forward bow stance. Heck, it can be thrown from a lot of different areas. It's also very obscure. Okay, and by that I mean it starts with our hand down here around the belly area. Okay, you ever seen someone do a Fearley shuffle or something like that in boxing? Chin's tucked down, they're using their shoulder, and then they throw a vertical jab from low. When someone knows that system or strategy and method of boxing, they're normally very successful with it. And those are the same benefits we get out of an outward back knuckle. Okay? From a neutral bow, again, your hand's going to come down here, and you don't throw it with your hand in your forearm. You actually begin the movement with your elbow. Once your elbow has all been used up, then you bring out the back knuckle. So for now, I just want you to go 1, 2, 1, 2. And the striking surface, I want you to take your hand, and just bring your knuckles back, okay? Should be a good strong fist. Fist is arched back a little bit. These two knuckles here are going to be pronounced, and that's what you want to use as your striking surface. If you were to put a $50 coin on your hand right here, that's the part you want to be striking with. If I'm in a right neutral bow, hand comes down low. Heck, maybe you can do a little feinting up here. Elbow up, back knuckle. So just practice 1, 2. Smoother you get, the speed will automatically develop itself. Okay? If I'm in a right neutral bow, this angle, again, hands around my belly, okay. Elbows up, I ran out of elbow, boom. It's almost like has a whipping action to it. Okay, hands down here, elbow first, right? Great weapon. The target can be the face, orbital bones, the jaw. Typically, I don't want to go into the top, near the top of the head with this weapon, but frequently I will use it on the arms. If someone has their arms down and you're trying to clear a path, this back knuckle definitely can clear a path. Okay? And you notice right there, I also employed a push drag, or a drag step, or step drag. So, outward back knuckle. For the audio coach, let's do this from 2 different positions. Okay? And the audio coach will be in a neutral bow. Okay? Bring our hand down, elbow. So just say elbow 2. Or 1, 2. And we'll switch. Elbow 2. Also, we're going to work the forward bow into the game, all right? So, hand will come down low, elbow up, and then I want that forward bow to come out with that final impact. And then come back to a neutral bow. All right, so for that drill, hand comes down, elbow, back knuckle, back to neutral, bring it down. We're just going to get a lot of reps in, and then when you notice if you're making any types of little mistakes, be cool with it, just figure them out and address the issue, okay? So that's all for today. Let's review. We went over the front twist, the rear twist, and the rotating or the in-place twist stance. Then we jumped into our outward back knuckle strike. And we're going to practice that on the audio coach from two different stances. We're going to start with the neutral bow, and then we're going to work into the forward bow. And again, the elbow maneuver is going to be completed as you are in a neutral bow, while the final impact or extension is going to happen as you are transitioning into your forward bow stance. So I'm going to add a dimension or two to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I know you're going to do just fine.